Very fucking late at night. But fuck it. Fuck. We'll have a little moment of just kind of chilling out and something. If anything, we'll probably look at like a single thing or something tonight. I don't know. Definitely probably not even an hour long.
Okay, sorry about that. Step on your leash.
Doggo. What, you gonna stare at me this entire time? Wow.
No, go on.
Go annoy him for once. Why does it have to be me this entire time? Why do you have to stare at my ass? Yeah, there you go. Oh, there you go. Yeah, go annoy him.
Hey, you're good.
Oh, he's a goofy little doggo.
Well,
He's looking at me again.
you went to run out that way and I stepping on his sleeve. And now I'm not stepping on it and he's staying here.
What a goofball.
Yeah, you bum.
What a goofy little goober.
Good peppers. That's good peppers.
He's just a goof. I mean, he's just like a sweet little goof. I mean, just in every way, shape, or form. Here. Like I said, probably won't be on there for like too long, but let's just like a little bit. At least like a little bit, you know, in the sense that, you know, we kind of like talk about for, you know, what's going on for the lovely evening and all that fun and shit. Which, I mean, it wasn't really too much, but it's kind of, you know, talking, you know, some different little things with my friend, you know, before we left. Because, like, I mean, honestly, if anything, we're just kind of talking about, like, some of the sense of, like, kind of rebellious nature, I guess, you know, that kind of comes with, you know, some people sometimes. Especially with me. Shut up. Don't be doing that. Because, one thing I've been telling him is that, like, you know, there's been a few things that I've been a little rebellious in doing when it comes to good trouble. And, I mean, I haven't really been, like, overtly, like, open about what that is, and I'm sort of shit ain't gonna say what it is. But, yeah, there's been a few things where I'm just like, you know, I feel like, you know, there could be a little good trouble, you know, put in place. That's been kind of what I've been doing. But, you know, so he's been kind of like, oh yeah, fuck you, dude. And also, you know, kind of been like wanting to like kind of expand with that with me a little bit in a way. So I'm just like, okay. I mean, you know, it's just like, if anything, we just have to find the time to get together for that, I guess. So, you know, slowly but surely adding a little bit of rebellious nature within town. I mean, if anything, that rebellious nature has already been kind of like, you know, in town for a while, but it's, you know, only becoming a little bit more vocal, which I'm sort of okay with. I noticed that, like, sometime last night, like, somebody, like, down the street, spray painted "fuck fascist," like, on the sidewalk. And, yeah, and when I was going to work, I noticed that those people were pressure washing that away. But whatever they spray painted, like, it was stuck. It was still there. So by the time I was, like, on break at, like, 8 o'clock earlier tonight, and they were long done with pressure washing the sidewalk, it was still there. Like, you could legibly still read it. So, I don't know who did that, but apparently they have a very similar, you know, fuck fascist mentality that I do. And, yeah, and honestly, considering, you know, just this town, I mean, I know there's definitely a few anarchist, like, rebel type of people that live around here, outside of me. Like, I'll grant that I've, like, written stuff in Sharpie and stuff like that. But, like, I mean, I ain't gonna risk a fuck spray paint. Like, I feel like they can, like, track you with that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, suddenly there was like green spray paint that was sold at the store, and now we suddenly see green spray paint everywhere, or this and that, blah 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 blah, or like a white spray paint, or this and that. Like, I feel like they could just like backtrack you on that bullshit and just like fucking like pin you on some stuff that isn't like fucking even close to what you've been doing, shit like that. Because I mean, cops love to fabricate and frame innocent people for bullshit, just in order to solve crimes. Being like, hey, we have this investigation we've been looking at for like months on end, and we really need a lead. You know what? This person happens to be, coincidentally enough, closely tangential in this case in some weird way, shape, or form, based on our fucking judgment. So, they're guilty, and they're the suspect, so fuck them. Like, that's how fucking cops, see this shit. So, honestly, there's like half, a mind, in my mind, where it's like, I might be walking my dog in the middle of the night or some shit like that, and they might stop me or something. Because, like, oh, we know that you're kind of a rabble-rousey rebellious kid, and blah, blah, blah. Have you been doing any of this shit? And just use that as a way to target me. I mean, luckily it hasn't really happened yet at all, but considering there's been a trend of this in my town lately, I kind of feel like that might happen, and it's gonna be fucking bullshit when it does. Honestly, like, I don't want that bullshit. I don't want that fucking flack. But you know what? If they want to fucking push that flack, then fuck the cops. They're the ones who are doing it in the first place. Just because you got like some rebel, like, fucking teenager or some shit, or like some young adult spray painting something on the sidewalk, whatever the fuck. I mean, that it doesn't merit you being an oppressive fucking, goose-stepping cop piece of shit. Okay? It doesn't. Like, oh no, you got a delinquent teenager spray painting things here and there throughout town. Big whoop. At least, it's creative fucking graffiti. Like, this is Uniontown. This is like one thing I've noticed that's been spray painted, recently, and some shit like that. So it's just like, I mean, whoever's been spray painting, obviously, they got some taste. I'm gonna grant them that. I mean, so whatever. I'll admit to like writing stuff in Sharpie. Like, I'll take a Sharpie and like, write something on the side of a fucking pole. Like, I'll do that. But the thing is, that is easily washable. Like, you can wash that away. Like, I mean, spray paint, obviously, it kind of takes some scrubbing and power washing. And also, like, it's very noticeable, and it kind of takes time to write something in spray paint. Like, I'm not going to waste my time where I could be caught doing that shit. I'll let some other motherfucker or some kid do that themselves if they want to risk it. I ain't gonna do that. Unless it's like in downtown Portland, but I mean, in the recent times I've been to Portland, whoever's been doing it has not made their fucking mark over there yet. So, I mean, they've been living around over here. So, not over in Portland. At least, from what I can tell. But whatever. I mean, I don't give a fuck that, some kids spray painting some shit in my local area. I mean, at least it's something based instead of like, fucking some weird gang affiliation shit. So I can grant that. I'll grant the kid that. I'll grant a lot of this, new stuff that's been kind of spray painted around town that. It's like, hey, at least it ain't like some gang bullshit. It's like union stuff. Like, like, oh, Union Pride, or like, this is Uniontown, or whatever the fuck. And just random things like that. And it's like, hey, I can respect that. Like, I mean, I ain't got a fucking dog on that. It's like, it ain't like, this Crip town, or this is like the town of the Bloods, or this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, it ain't some stupid bullshit like that. Which, I like I said, I can respect at least. Yo, what the fuck? Hey! What are you whining about? Do you just want to fucking, like, be in the house? Are you serious? I love him, but, dude, he sounds like he's being tortured to death every time he wants any attention from me. Like, he either barks, whines, and fucking moans, dude, I love him, but, oh my god, dude, he's way too obsessed. It's so annoying. I love you, bro, but can you not, like, fucking, like, whine or bark at me, please? When you know for fucking goddamn well that I'm right next to you. He was doing this at the bar earlier. Like, I was doing some karaoke, and I happened to be 5 feet away from him. But because, God forbid, I wasn't holding his leash, he was freaking the fuck out over it. It's like, dude, Zukov, like, calm the fuck down. You actual fucking little baby man-child little bitch. Like, seriously. It's like, grow the fuck up, dog. I mean, it's like, I'm literally 5 feet away from you doing my own thing. You cannot leave me the fuck alone for like 5 minutes? Like, come on, dog. I love you. You're a sweet boy. You're adorable. But, like, fuck off for like 5 minutes. Please? Like, I mean, it's like, you don't have to whine. You don't have to beg or anything. You just have to sit there and look adorable. Which you always do, Zukov. He does this all the time. Where he looks adorable and looks cute. But just cannot just chill. He has to be a whiny little fuck. He has to, like, bark about something. He has to do this shit. And, again, hey, dude. Just right there, bro. That shit actually makes me mad, almost. Because, like, he sounds like he's, like, crying. It's like, for fucking what? Because you want, like, a little snugs, or you want me to just, like, acknowledge your existence? I mean, hey! Yeah. What the fuck? What do you want? See, I don't get him. I really don't. Hey! Don't be doing that. You know what? Get the fuck over here. Get over here. Come here. Zukov, come here. Come here. Zukov, come here. Come here. No. That's right. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh my fucking God. You're a fuck. Ugh. Ugh. You're a fuck, dude. Yeah, you. Meh. Meh. You're just a good boy. Oh, you're just a good boy. You're just a good boy. Yes. What a goof. What a goofball. Are you just a goof? Are you just a goofball? Oh my good lord. You goof. You big goofball. Alright. He's just a little goof. Let's look at this little chungus. Oh my goodness. You big goofball. You big old goof. Oh. What are you doing? Oh my god. Ugh. You big goof. You're so ridiculous. Here. Go on. You can move yourself along now, buddy. There you go. Yep. Hold on. I'll get this vest off you. Okay? Okay, there we go. Ah. There we go. Yes. Oh. Yes, you little boy. Oh my goodness. No. Here we go. Now you got that vest all off of you. Yes. Look at his little feet go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at those little feet go. Oh my goodness. You're just a crazy boy. Man. Oh. Oh my god, you goof. You big goofball. Yes. Alright, here you go. Yeah. I'll do that fast later. Goofball. The dog is a goofball. What the fuck? Dog is just like a little sweet boy. Now you're just staring at me. What? Why do you have to fucking stare at me every time I'm done with you? What, do you think that I'm gonna, like, grant you something extra? You know, outside of your current existence and lifestyle? Because, I mean, there really isn't. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not that often. I don't get the smut. I really don't get him. I mean, I'm just glad that, like, pretty much everybody recognizes it. Can I help you? I'm glad that everyone recognizes that he's like the most friendliest, sweetest, adorable little fuck to ever exist. I'm just glad that that's the thing, because man, I couldn't even imagine, having to deal with his older siblings, because they are a lot more vocal, and a lot more rambunctious, and a lot more rebellious. Like Zukov is actually very well behaved for his age. Like, some people thought he was, like, 4 or 5 years old when he's only 2. It's like, I mean, some people are like, what? Get the fuck out of here, bro. No way. And I'm like, no, he's, like, 2 and some change, basically. Like, at most, he's probably, like, 2 and, like, 2 months old. At most. So, yeah. Yeah, he's a young buck. He's a young boy. And some people have been caught by surprise by that. They thought they would be, like, at least, like, 2 years older than that. Which I guess is a good thing. But the people see him more as mature, more so than like an immature pup. So, honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Alright, I can't dog on that. stupid dog. Just a goof. Oh, wait, hold on. Whoa, too loud. There we go. I have a little tunes for the background. Let's see what other little things we can. What? Not other things. I haven't even bothered looking at any other things on YouTube yet. But yeah, what to be down for the tube? Whoa. My life inside a neo-Nazi group. Minutes with at LAD Bible. It's like a 30 to 40 minute video, but you know what, I'll check that out a little bit later in a future stream. I'm definitely certainly curious about to see what his I guess life was, but a little bit too much for right now, so I'll give it some time. Maybe tomorrow we'll check it out tonight, or I guess tomorrow night. And I'm getting recommended a lot of Explore With Us, the True Crime channel, because I've been watching a lot of their videos for kick. They don't think killing their daughter was wrong. So I guess a parents or killed their fucking kids. I'm kind of a stickler for true crime shit, but sometimes I get this sense of what the fuck, and it just ends up being a deep dive, more so than I really want to, I guess. Because there was this fucking story by Explore With Us that was about this about this whole fucking these kids that one of them was early onset schizophrenic, and the other one was obviously a hyper solipsist narcissistical personality type of person. And they had a friend that happened to be with them for during their high school life, or tenure, I guess. And one day, the narcissistic solipsist type of kid convinced her friend, this onset schizophrenic kid, to fucking kill their friend because it was, quote, necessary or some shit. And the interrogation footage of that shit is fucking wild, because the two interrogation footages of the two kids, the schizophrenic and the narcissist, is fucking wild, legitimately wild. The other kid was just the schizophrenic kid was oh, hey, it's is our friend dead or not? Because, we're said it was, my friend said it was necessary, and I hope that, they didn't die but died or something. It was, some weird shit like that. And the narcissistic solipsist was oh, yeah, our friend, the schizophrenic kid wanted to, do this type of thing, so, I was kind of led on, it was weird fucking shit, dude. And what is even more crazy about it is that their friend was stabbed 19 times by both of them and survived. The only reason why they were caught was because, some dude who happened to be walking his dog or some shit, just happened to see this girl fucking, limping on the side of the road, just stabbed, half to fucking death, barely breathing and shit, just, walking down the road. And the two girls who were fucking on the side of a fucking highway just sitting there when they were caught. And it's like, what the fuck? I mean, a lot of it's just like crazy. And a lot of these, like, you know, true crime things, I mean, you know, that I get into tend to be things like this. Because, like, I mean, honestly, I mean, for me, it's just like, it really solidifies so much about why we need mental health care, like, to be so fucking prominent when it comes to our healthcare system. Like, it needs to be. I mean, even if we're gonna have, like, the privatized garbage that we have now, like, that needs to seriously be a fucking, like, prominent, like, you know, thing that is, you know, like, advocated and pushed for. Because, like, so many fucking people, like, you know, slip through the cracks and do some fucking hiccups. God damn it. But, like, they do crazy, heinous shit. Like, I was actually reading up about Elliot Rodger a little bit, even. And, reading about his case. And, even there, like, so much of it is, like, built on this whole fucking, like, you know, sense of, like, you know, society is strictly at fault, and that somehow these people aren't at fault, and, you know, they need to use some sort of violence or extremism or, like, some sort of element to get their way in order to really, I guess, you know, kind of feel like a sense of control, or like a sense of, you know, like, you know, power in their own fucking life. And it's even more, like, sad and insane when it comes from a child or a teenager. Like, you know, I mean, because Elliot Rodger, for example, I mean, he was like fucking, what, 21 or some shit when he did what the fuck he did. And then you got, like, you know, those two girls I was talking about. They were in their fucking, like, they were in high school. Like, they were, like, 14 or some shit. Like, I mean, you know, these are definitely things that are way more prominent and need to be fucking addressed. And societally, if there is something that is at fault, it's the fact that we don't, like, look at these specific things with actual serious earnest. We just don't. Like, I mean, even with one of my friends, like, I won't say a name, but, like, when, you know, even with one of my friends, they think I, like, gaslight, almost, like, when it comes to these type of ideas, or when it comes to, like, acknowledging this. And it's like, I guess in a weird way, I think they think that I don't truly believe these ideas or believe these things, and it's like, yeah, the fuck I do. Like, I mean, what I see on here is certainly, like, the fucking truth. You know, at least, you know, how I see it. You know, how I perceive things. And you know what? If that happens to fucking contradict what you fucking think, then that ain't my problem. Sorry, it just isn't. Like, if anything, if that's the case, then challenge my fucking shit then. Challenge my worldview and try to convince me otherwise. But that never happens. Honestly, why? Because I'm probably correct. I just am. Like, I just know I am. Like, I mean, like, when it comes to these, you know, like, the manosphere content and this type of stuff, I know I'm fucking correct. I mean, and the thing is, it's not even, like, something that you have to be, like, objectively correct on. Because I know I'm not. But I'm correct enough to know that when it comes to the broader, like, Andrew Tate, Aiden Ross, Sneeko style content and those motherfuckers and what they espouse is fundamentally objectively incorrect. And the virtue of challenging and also, like, you know, criticizing and, you know, like, you know, like, pushing it totally, you know, like, fundamental antithesis to what that is, you know, like, fundamentally objectively correct. You know, sometimes, you know, that might mean that those ideas, you know, what those are, might clash a little bit. But you know what? The human condition's like that. Sometimes, you know, we have different ideas about what we want and what our interests are, and sometimes they clash. Shocker. Wow. It's as if like humanity and our interests in what we all fundamentally want and stuff tends to be different. And understanding those type of things and respecting and acknowledging those things and adapting and taking in accordance of those things tends to be a lot better and more fruitful for one's well-being, more so than just like being stuck up in like, oh, it's everybody else's fault, but I'm, the totally pure one. It's like, fuck you, no you're not. It's like, grow the fuck up and realize that ain't the truth. That's just how I feel. It's like, sorry, when it comes to a lot of these manosphere incel types, they're immature. They're fucking, have no capability of having true introspection and true adaptation to who they are as an individual, and have no ability to actually, like, grow from that. They have no ability to actually grow the fuck up. They just don't. Because I was in that mentality. You know how I got out of it? I grew the fuck up. Like, you know what? Like, when it comes to my broader, like, experience, sexually or otherwise stuff, it hasn't changed. The difference is, though, I grew the fuck up and I matured from it. And I realized that, hey, it's not society or everything else strictly. Sometimes there's some things about me, and I changed those things about myself, and you know what? It ended up being better for me. And everybody else in the way besides. Whether they realize that or not. Because, like, it just ends up being, like, a better positive social interaction. Being able to just, like, be more laissez-faire, not give a fuck, and just see where it goes. Versus, having this expectation of, like, how I think what, societally or, like, socially we ought to feel like, ought to be. Because guess what? There isn't no true idea of what we ought to be like. We've always, as a humanity, have changed, from this. That's always been different. Like, how humanity has ought to feel like and ought to be 1,000 years ago is fundamentally, and objectively different to today. And what, those norms are today will be objectively different from what the norms are 10 years later, down the line. That's just a fucking fact. Like, humanity changes and evolves that way. That's just who we are. And if some people want to, stick their fucking head in the sand and not mature and evolve with that and adapt to that shit, then fuck them. That's their fucking problem, not ours. We as society and we as individuals should not feel obligated to fucking cater to some motherfucker because, like, they cannot, like, conceive of the ability to mature from their own self and be able to, like, adapt to this shit. We do not have to cater to that. We can adapt and evolve as we are as a species without having to regress ourselves because some fucker can't get it. Like, honestly, we can mature as a species without having to stagnate ourselves because of the select few can't understand it, or can't get it, or can't tap into that adaptation of modern society and, like, the changes of cultural norms and all this other shit. It's like, if they can't change to that, then fuck them. Like, they're too stunted, to fucking, understand the complexities about the human condition at that point anyway. And, at that point, basically are incapable of progressing with humanity. Like, I don't know what to say beyond that. Because if they can't, do these basic changes, that are pretty immediate in the contemporary sense of how society and culture is now, then how in the fuck are we to expect those people to do that, for 10 years down the line, or 15, or 20 years down the line? Because they're still going to be alive. They're our fucking peers. So, or even younger, or maybe slightly older. I'm 26, and a lot of these people tend to be slightly younger or older than me, or within my peer group. So these people are still going to be alive, 100%, in the next 10 to 15 to 20 plus fucking years. And they will refuse to adapt and evolve, culturally, like, ideologically, in every fucking sense, because they think they're the good ones, and all of society is somehow the problem. Hey! Dude, hey, Zukov, dude. Hey, bro. Hey. Come here, Zukov, don't do that. Come here. Come here, buddy. Well, that works too, as long as you shut up. But, like I'm saying though, I mean, there's definitely like a strong element of like society that needs to progress and like adapt, and that's a part of the human condition that is ever continuous. And honestly, there's a lot of elements about traditionalism, conservatism, manosphere, like inceldom and shit like this that are fundamentally regressive and stagnative to these ideas, to its core. I mean, it's fundamentally. I mean, and that ain't no gaslight, that ain't no fucking, like, weird fucking idea of, like, this sense of, like, oh, I'm just believing this because, the real truth is problematic or something. Because there ain't no fucking problematic truth to this. If it's problematic, it's probably because what you believe is bullshit. That's why. Like, I mean, because what I believe isn't problematic, it's just another variable to the core nuanced discussion that is actually meritable to this whole fucking thing, versus what is, quote, problematic because some liberal might think it's offensive. And if that's the case, that has more to say about you than me or anyone else. Fundamentally and objectively. Like, I mean, if like, some take that you have offends a leftist or a liberal or progressive, while mine doesn't when it comes to these issues, even if we might be saying the same thing, then you got a problem. I don't. Like, I mean, so that isn't gaslight, that ain't bullshit, this isn't like, some weird, like, talking point. This is how I feel. And if it's how I observe the shit, maybe it happens to be coincidentally very similar to how a lot of other leftists and progressives feel, then maybe they're correct. They might be right. They just might be correct on this issue. And if that's the case, they do some introspection. Like, think a little bit. Like, fucking, do a little internal thought process in your fucking head. Actually have the shocking dare and audacity to think that maybe you're wrong on something. And maybe you need to change that about yourself a little bit. Because there's nothing wrong with that. As in fact, that's a very human thing to do. A very human thing to say, hey, I might be wrong on something. Let me change how I am. That's a very human thing. So, like, I mean, just fuck. Like, grow up and realize you might be wrong and adapt and, change for the better. Because everyone's capable of that. It's whether they actually give a fuck enough to actually do it and pursue that. And I am, because I give a fuck about my self-actualization. I also give a fuck about my community and the people around me and stuff like that. So it's like, because of that shit, I'm willing to, like, go out there and socialize, and also go out there and, like, put myself out there, even if it makes me uncomfortable. Because sometimes my own uncomfortability can be broken down by pushing that shit and pushing that fucking barrier. And I've done that. I've gotten friends. I've gotten, like, acquaintances. I've hung out with people on the virtue of breaking my own fucking uncomfortability. Pushing my boundaries myself. Because I broke my own barriers. It's not because, like, some motherfucker, did that for me. I did it to myself. And that's the real true strength when it comes to that shit. It's like, I mean, and that's honestly the fucking thing that the manosphere or these incels or all these motherfuckers will never tell a man. Or even a woman that might suffer for these issues. Or anyone else in between. That the true power to change this shit comes from you. From you fundamentally. No one else, not society, not some weird, fucking Jordan Peterson snake oil con man motherfucker. Not these type of people. Yourself. That's where it comes from. And there ain't no fucking bullshit that is going to sell that down the river. That's the objective truth. That the only person that could change you is you. I mean, there could be a lot of people that can help kind of guide your hand and stuff like that. But the only person that's really going to do that for you will be you. It doesn't matter how many hands and how many people fucking babysit you and fucking escort you all the way down that fucking, road. The only person who's really going to be able to cross that finish line, so to speak, when it comes to those paths, will be you. I mean, those people, it's like leading a horse to water, but you can't force, the horse to drink the water, right? Only you can drink that water. Like, people can lead you as the horse to that water, but only you are going to be able to drink it. And only you are going to be able to have the gumption to do so. So, are you? That'll be the question. I mean, to be fair, I'm just kind of like, kind of rambling a little bit. Yeah, like, there wasn't really like, a route to the start of the talk, I guess, but it's been on my mind, honestly. I mean, one of my friends have been like kind of thinking about this lately, and it's definitely been like a conversation, even with me and my friend Metal T. Like, this is something that even before we split, before I went back home tonight, like, this is something we've been talking about, because, it's, like, loneliness and, like, like, the lack of sociability, period, let alone just, like, sociability when it comes to, like, relationships or, like, sexual relationships, stuff like that. Like, it's, it certainly is nowhere near to where the average, like, casuality of, these type of things has been going on. Like, it's certainly lessened, but, like, a lot of, what I'm saying is that, like, the real problem as to why the way that is not really because of, like, some societal ills. And you know what? There are definitely societal ills that play a role and exacerbate these issues. But the fundamental core as to why those are the cases is because of the individual that exacerbates that in their own mind, and thus, allows that to perpetuate as a societal ill, because them and plenty of other fucking people feel the exact same way, and they end up having this very, like, major self-fulfilling prophecy and this, like, reciprocal fucking cycle of, being in the same fucking, feedback loop bullshit over and over and over again every fucking month, every fucking year, and all this other bullshit, and, nothing changes. Like, to them, it's like, weird little things like, no fap November or whatever the fuck. Random shit like that is like their weird, like, escapist, like, respite, or something. It's like, you fucking sad little bitch. You actual pathetic fuck. Like, no fap November is like the way to, like, abstain yourself from, like, lust or, or whatever the fuck you think, is gonna help you. It's like, you are a legit pathetic fuck. Like, you are sad. I would shove you in the locker and fucking give you a wet willy. Like, you're a bitch. I will bully you in high school. Like, you're a fucking pathetic fuck. Like, I mean, like, I could bust a fucking nut in November, like, no fucks given, because I'm a mature adult that, like, that doesn't blame society or myself or anyone else besides, because of, like, whatever the fuck. Because, oh, I can't get along or some shit. It's like, give me a break. I mean, that type of shit is just immaturity and just a strong projection of insecurity that somehow it needs to be everybody else's problem. And the thing is, these no-fap November fucks, they literally have to, like, project it just as much as a goddamn fucking vegan proselytizes veganism to you every fucking day on Twitter. Like, it's, that's how fucking extreme they are about this shit. And it's pathetic. They are fucking pathetic. It's just sad. I mean, like, I'd bully them if it wasn't so fucking sad. God damn it. I mean, because, like, because, like I said, like, the idea that, like, oh, you know, to be a mature alpha bro is, like, you know, not, like, you know, succumb to, like, certain things, like, jerking off or something or whatever. Fuck. It's like, dude, like, grow up, bro. Like, it's actually healthy and, you know, good for you to, like, bust a nut, like, at least, like, a couple times a week. Like, legitimately, there's fucking data and facts to back that up. Like, your body, you know, naturally, you know, goes through more healthier processes if you jerk it once or twice a week. There's actual facts to it. Like, you can't deny that. So if that's the case, then No Fat November and all this other bullshit is fucking objectively wrong and disastrous and negatively impactful to your own health. So what does that say about those fuckers? Where they deny facts and deny the actual, like, you know, reality of how, like, you know, your body functions. And they deny it. Kind of interesting. Interesting how a lot of these manosphere types and a lot of these, like, hardcore, like, incel types, you know, and just really conservatives in general, tend to deny a lot of aspects about, you know, science and facts and biology and things like that, and yet to be such strong proponents for enforcing that type of idea. It's kind of interesting. Just a little interesting thought. Because you know goddamn well that, like, you know, these cyber fucks, you know, like, like, when it comes to, like, this objective idea of, like, what the human body is and shit, I mean, it's kind of taken away from the manosphere thing a little bit. Like, you know, they have this objective idea about what, like, the human body is. And it's just based off of just bullshit. I mean, it just is. Like, they think that, like, you know, humanity is, like, you know, just men and women. And sometimes literally just men. And some of these fucks, you know, treat women as, like, citizens. And, you know, see humanity as, like, a strict, hyper-essentialist idea of what our species really is. And it's like, no. Just no. We're far more complex and far more sophisticated than just, like, you know, women being bikers and the men are just, like, these strong fucking, like, alpha bros or whatever the fuck. It's like, no. Not even close. Because if that's the case, then what am I? I'm somewhere in between. Like, I mean, you know, so if that's the virtue, like, then obviously that's wrong. Because, like, if there's people like me that do not fit in either paradigm whatsoever, I'm definitely not, like, some strong alpha man bro, and I'm definitely not, like, some effeminate, like, you know, baby maker or whatever the fuck, obviously. You know, so it's like, you know, where the fuck would I fit in that shit? And with this biological essentialist worldview, I don't fit in any of that. I don't. I'm considered an outcast and a degenerate and a sinful inferior, like, you know, to these people. So, like, I mean, you know, what the fuck? Like, they just don't have, like, a true, you know, honest look about what we are as the human condition of who we are as a species. They just don't. I mean, like, because fundamentally, we're just, like, I mean, we are just, like, fucking apes that just, like, have a little bit more of a complex understanding about, like, how some things about the, you know, like, the world works around us and all sorts of shit, but, like, that's just what we are. We're just kind of apes figuring shit out. And you know what, like, and that's fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And this essentialist worldview, you know, just really needs to be challenged and curtailed in really every way. And this normalization of like queer folk and trans folk and non-binary people is certainly, you know, our current contemporary form of challenging that right now. And it's honestly kind of why, you know, myself, I somewhat identify as kind of non-binary a little bit, just because like I don't believe in the biological essentialist idea about what gender norms are. I don't believe it. I don't believe that type of stuff. I reject it. Like, it's not something that I see as like an objective truth, or like even inherently like a correct subjective truth. It's just like, it's one of those things that we just happen to, you know, socially construct over the generations. I mean, it's just what it is. So I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck one way or the other. Like, I mean, so, and honestly, I think it would do better for us if we just stopped giving a shit. Like, identify what you want. If you want to identify as a, you know, your biological sex, then fine, who cares? No one's stopping you. Like, the whole point is to say, hey, like, you know, what is, like, essentially objectively true about what that is bullshit, and it's, at least when it comes to that aspect of reality in the world, like, what you make of it is the truth of what it is. Like, that is, like, a postmodernist aspect about our reality that is just kind of there, and we have to accept it. Like, I mean, you know, like, honestly, like, a postmodernist element about our society is that, like, you know, there's going to be things about gender identity and personal identity broadly, even outside of that, that will certainly contradict about what we, you know, contemporarily know about these things. And that's okay. Like, because at the end of the day, that's still that individual's truth about who they are. That's who they are. Like, that's their identity. And if that's how they want to express themselves, then so be it. Like, that ain't your fucking problem. So why make it a problem? Why, like, make that your fucking issue? Like, why? It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't harm you. Who gives a fuck? I mean, that's just my kind of, like, issue about these things sometimes. I mean, I guess it's kind of, at least, you know, what I've been thinking about a lot lately. It's just like, it's this type of stuff sometimes, because, like, I mean, I don't really care that much about, like, cultural, like, social issues that much, but I mean, goddamn, I mean, they still hold a very strong importance to me, because, like, I mean, they shouldn't matter as much as they do, but they do, because of people that just cannot fucking fathom the fact that, you know, these quote-unquote abnormal, or, like, you know, like, out of the binary, like, you know, role of, like, what we understand of, like, gender, or, like, you know, when it comes to, like, sexuality and all this other shit, like, these type of people just cannot fathom that at all. It's just unfathomable to them. And it's like, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying from earlier. Just grow the fuck up. Just grow up. Like, because, yeah, there's going to be people that are going to be totally different to what you personally think, you know, what ought to be, or whatever the fuck. And so be it. Because, you know what, there's, like, half of humanity, if not even half, like 70% of fucking humanity, it, like, does not adhere to what I ought to think humanity ought to be like. Does that, like, you know, fucking, like, destroy every fiber of my being, and I have to, like, have some crusade against it? No. I don't have, like, some crusade against it, or whatever the fuck. I want to encourage, you know, these people to think otherwise, of course, but at the end of the day, like, it's not some fucking, the offense upon my, like, worldview or some shit. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, and honestly, I think the more that we could just accept that fucking fact and just like adapt to it, I think honestly the better we all would be as a species. And regardless of whether we're conservative or left or this and that, whatever the fuck we are, like if we could just accept the fact that at least on a social level that yeah, there's going to be different people, they're going to be, you know, different backgrounds and this and that and all this other shit, and you know, sometimes we're not going to 100% get that, and you know, sometimes might be even uncomfortable with it. I mean, it's so what? Plenty of fucking things that I see in my own life that I'm not totally comfortable with. You wanna know what I'm pretty uncomfortable with when I see on a daily basis? Is people that wear like Christian bullshit. Like, you know, like, oh, like, you know, Jesus is my guy t-shirts or whatever the fuck. Cause like, there's this dude, and he comes into my work all the fucking time, like every day, literally every fucking day. And I swear to God, like every shirt this person has is some form of Christian / like Jesus shirt of some sort. Every fucking day. And it's a different shirt every time. Like I know for a fact this dude has at least like 10 different Christian shirts. And every motherfucking day he's wearing one of them. Every fucking day. Dude, like one of those variations. And it's just like, honestly, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it, and personally, I think it's a little offensive. But you know what? I don't make it a big deal. I don't give a fuck at the end of the day. That's that dude's prerogative. That's his weird little bullshit. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. It's a little weird. I mean, you know, I've helped him plenty of times, you know, like giving him chicken tenders or whatever the fuck. I mean, you know, he's, you know, honestly, I think he's a weirdo. Like, I will admit that. I think that guy's a fucking weirdo. But, you know what? He's chill. You know, he's, you know, pretty friendly enough. His kids, I could tell, are very sheltered, and I feel fucking bad for them in every way, shape, and form. But, you know, whatever. He's pretty chill for the most part. Like, but at the end of the day, he's a fucking weirdo, dude. I could just tell, and I'm just like, bruh. I just like, man, I want to like find you on my day off and have like a fucking hour conversation with you with a fucking beer in my hand, and I want one in yours too, and like just hash out a little bit or something. Like, I want to know why you fucking are so gung-ho, you know what I mean? Like, I just want that. Like, I want to legit like have that, like, I will have a beer with that guy type of conversation with him. Like, and, you know, just to figure out, like, why are you so gung-ho the way you are? Is there something in your life? Did you just grow up this way? Like, did you convert? Like, what the fuck is it? Like, I mean, why are you like this? And why are you, like, forcing this on your kids? Because, honestly, dude, like, if I were to tell him something, it's like, dude, I can kind of tell that your kids are a little low-key, not into the weird shit that you're fucking into, dude. I can tell. And, you know, because I was that kid. I grew up in a fucking, you know, Christian family a little bit where it's like, you know, I had to kind of suck it up and deal with that bullshit, just like your kids do. And I can low-key tell they're not fond of it. And if they had their own fucking, you know, withers about them, they would fucking, you know, probably at minimal be agnostic. I'm just being blunt with that one. Like, the dude has at least, like, 3 or 4 kids. At least 3 for sure. And, maybe a 4th. I don't know. But at least 3 for sure. And, like, 2 sons and a daughter, I believe. Or he might have 2 daughters and 2 sons. I don't know. But, like, either way, it's just like, I could tell all of them are not exactly 100% on the Christian foo-foo bullshit. You know, even though he is fucking gung-ho for it. Like, like I said, like, he's always wearing a Christian Jesus shirt of some sort, and all this and that, and it's like, bruh. It's like, dude, look, I know plenty of people that come from my work that are obviously uber Christians, and they're not even this gung-ho about it. Where they're LARPing with, like, some weird t-shirt, like, every day, dude. Like, I know plenty of Christians who are even more Christian than this motherfucker, and they don't even go this far. It's like, why? Like, I honestly want to have a conversation with this guy. To be like, why are you, like, so God bothery, you know, like, implicitly, like, why you just, like, shove it down people's throats with your fucking shirts, you know what I mean? It's like, what is it, like, it's like I said, like, did he grow up this way, like, is he a convert, was there, like, trauma, and God was, like, his outlet, what the fuck is it? Like, I'm honestly just curious, you know, like, you know what, maybe one day I'll just ask him while I'm at work. It's like, I see you every day, you know, it's like, you have these Jesus shirts, like, I mean, what's the background with that, you know, you know, honestly, you know, I might just fucking ask him one day. I might just say fuck it and just ask him. I mean, you know, not in an insulting way. I'm just, you know, like, but obviously, you know, at least when I'm on the clock, you know, helping him. But, you know, just at least, you know, I've seen him enough times. You know, we have a rapport. Like I said, he's pretty chill. I just think he's fucking weird, this Christian shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, to kind of bring it full circle, this is kind of what I'm talking about in a way. It's like this weird fucking, like just objective, like, essentialist idea of, like, you know, what the world is, and to some people it's just like this weird Christendom, you know, like essentialism, or like sometimes it's like this weird manosphere bullshit. Like, it kind of comes in different stripes, you know, like, but it all comes from the same fucking cloth. It's just like, I mean, where on the cloth is it, I guess, so to speak? And for some, it's just in, like, I guess, a more benign, like, weird thing. You know, like, I guess when it comes to, like, religion or something. And for some of it, it's a lot more sinister and a lot more dark. Like, when it comes to things like inceldom or, like, the manosphere shit and this and that, like, that shit's a lot more sinister and a lot more dark. And a lot more fucking, if anything, kind of scary. Because of, like, you know, the outlet and, you know, some of the extreme things that have come from that. Like, people like Elliot Rodger come from the incel manosphere community. Like, and the things that, you know, that motherfucker's done, on top of, you know, all these other type of people and shit, it's freaky. I mean, you know, it's, honestly, I'd argue that, like, it's probably more scary in a sense when it comes to, like, you know, the violence that could come from it in comparison to, like, Christian extremism. Or at least, you know, just as, you know, comparable. Just because, like, it's definitely something that isn't discussed enough. And it's definitely something that isn't, you know, prominently, you know, like, you know, put on the forefront. So it kind of gets, you know, undermined because of other issues. Hey! Sukov, come here. And, you know, and because of that, like, I mean, it, you know, we kind of see an exacerbation of, you know, these type of figures, you know, and, like, how far, like, a lot of, you know, these takes can, you know, go when it comes to, like, a lot of these, you know, manosphere types. Like, I mean, that Sneako clip when he, like, randomly found some of his fans, you know, at, like, some basketball game or some shit, and they were just like, you know, kill all the gays, you know, fuck trans, you know, women, fuck all the women, blah, blah, blah. And Sneako was like, what have I done? And just had this look of, like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. Like, I mean, it's, like, that guy knows, especially, and I think a lot of these motherfuckers know the true ramifications of what they cause. They just don't really truly understand the reality of that issue until it hits them in the fucking face, like it did Sneako. And the thing is, you know, they're going to be in denial. They're not going to fucking admit it. And they can't, in a way, because if they do, that would compromise them to the woke fucking ideology and the globalist system or whatever the fucking weird bullshit that they fucking spew. And, you know, and their fan base will immediately write them off as, like, a puppet or, like, you know, someone who was bought and, you know, or someone who's woke or whatever the fuck. I mean, they will immediately write them off. So, Sneako can't do that. I kind of feel like, honestly, Sneako had a genuine moment of realization, but because of his fan base and because of his, you know, career so far, he, in his mind, can't afford to lose that. So he is, I think, purposely kind of playing dumb. And that is even more disgusting, I think, in comparison to just simply being denial. Because, like, that motherfucker had a genuine moment of, like, what have I done? Oh, fuck. And he is purposely, for his own fucking career, you know, undermining and just, like, playing dumb and being like, It's like, dude, you fuck. It's like, you can genuinely have, like, an iDubbbz moment or something like that and have a redemption arc, and you overtly refused. Like, you overtly decided to just, like, say, nah. You didn't take the fucking, like, open layup. Like, you had a layup for you, dog, and you didn't take it. You fuck. You sad bitch. That really, you know, shows, like, you know, the fundamental, like, mentality of these manosphere types, including the fan base of these type of people. They're fucking immature, sad, insecure fucking bitches. That's who they are. That's just the fucking truth. And they can mature and grow up and be more secure and confident in themselves, but that only comes from them. It ain't gonna come from people like me, and I sure shit ain't gonna fucking guide their hand to it. They have to figure that out for themselves. That's their fucking problem. They can fucking figure it out. If I could, and if I could guide my own personal hand, you know, into this type of shit, they can too. And, you know, and I'm not even the most attractive, you know, greatest fucking, you know, angelic fuck, you know, to exist, obviously. You know, I'm kind of an awkward looking dude, you know, definitely an awkward guy for sure. I mean, I'm an autistic fuck. I mean, but, like, I mean, you know, if someone like me can at least have, you know, interaction and sociability and get out there, do my own thing and not give a fuck, then, well, you can too. And that includes, you know, these manosphere incel weirdos too. And, in fact, half of them are just kids. They're, like, barely fucking, like, teenagers, for fuck's sake. It's like, you know, honestly, most of these fucking kids, you know, don't even need to be worrying about any of this type of shit. They shouldn't. Like, worry about fucking, like, graduating to high school and fucking seeing, like, what random immediate little minimum wage job you can get. Because honestly, unfortunately, that's just kind of the reality of what your fucking life's gonna be. Okay, kid? Like, I mean, that's what I would say to them. It's just like, just try to graduate and pass high school because that will help you, like, achieve a minimum wage job, potentially, and go from there. And hope it's a unionized workplace. And if not, then fucking start one. Like, because honestly, I mean, that's about the best advice you can give to a kid right now. Like, I mean, the whole traditional American dream is, it just ain't there anymore. So, it's like, you know, the fucking bullshit I was sold is, you know, when it comes to, like, going to college, having a good, you know, job from that, and being able to afford the white picket fence, and having, like, the, you know, like, you know, wife and the 2 kids and the dog, or whatever the fuck, like, that don't exist anymore. Like, you would have to be the luckiest fucking son of a bitch in the world for that to even be possible anymore today. So, it's like, I ain't even gonna pretend to, you know, say that, oh, you could potentially achieve that. I'm not even gonna pretend with that. Like, I mean, so, you know, like, I'm just gonna say how it is. And yeah, it sucks, but hey, if you want to see that change, do some good trouble. Do some practice. Do a little fun anarchist trouble. I mean, because there's a lot of ways that you can, you know, shift, you know, the broader, you know, like, vibe and general zeitgeist about how, you know, these things are. And we've talked about that a lot, you know, plenty in the past. Which involves strictly and only voting. I'm just kidding, obviously. I mean, well, mostly. I'm 90% joking. Like, the 10%, like, is more, like, serious when it comes to, like, local shit. Like, townships, countywide, even statewide. That stuff is actually kind of important. But national-wide and that type of shit, I mean, at this point, it's just bullshit. I mean, it just really is. Like that, unfortunately, your vote doesn't actually, count in that sense. I mean, at least concurrently. And anyone that's trying to say otherwise is just kind of bullshitting you a little bit. Even if they genuinely have good intentions. Because, like, I know plenty of people that, like, have good intentions, but yet you just have this consistent, like, electoralist, vote blue no matter who mentality. And it's like, look, I get it. And honestly, as it stands right now, I mean, I'm potentially open to voting for Biden, blah, 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 and all sort of bullshit, but, like, I mean, for one, like, you gotta do more than just, like, sell the same fucking argument over and over again. Because I had the same argument back in 2016 when I was growing up and had the vaguest understanding of politics, back in, like, 2008 to 2012, and all this other shit, and even during like the 2012 or like the 2014 like 13 midterms and shit, like it was the same fucking argument. Like I remember like hearing, at least especially from my parents, for the Republican side, this whole like vote red no matter what type of thing, as much as this whole vote blue no matter who shit. And it's like and if it's like the argument that is like used pretty strongly by the duopoly when it comes to Democrats and Republicans for their fucking voter bases, then maybe there's kind of a problem with that whole fucking argument in the first place, and maybe it's not a fucking beneficial argument to be used for us as people. Like when it comes to our best interests, because if that's been sold to us as something that's good by by both parties in a lot of ways, especially the Democrats when it comes to this issue and the vote blue no matter who thing, and nothing meritably comes out from something like that outside of just like we're better than the other guy, then maybe there's something wrong with that whole the whole thesis and that premise in the first place. Just maybe. Do a little time check. Yeah, been going on for a little over an hour. I consider how late it is, all that. I think a pretty decent little amount of time. Just kind of do little rambles. Kind of get some thoughts out there that I'm kind of thinking in my head and all that shit. I mean, honestly, especially when it comes to like the manosphere stuff and that type of shit. That's honestly something that's been kind of like stewing in my head for a little bit. I haven't really like talked about it recently, but I think when there's some like more people in here and to have a back and forth with and shit, I definitely kind of want to talk more about that, honestly, because like I mean, because honestly, I mean, I definitely I'm trying to avoid names, but I got this like message that was forwarded to me where it's like, where I was kind of referring to it earlier about like gaslighting about like, takes that I have about these things, and which are essentially very fucking consistent and no different to, like what I've said in the past. And it's just like, huh? It was very fucking confusing. And it's if anything, it's just kind of made me think more about this, just because like, I mean, like how much has this like manosphere shit really poisoned people? Not just men, but just people in general. Like how much of the shit has like poisoned people's fucking minds? Because it's obviously like seeped way more than just like insecure, lonely fucking teenagers. You know what I mean? Like or young adults. Like it's gone beyond that. And if there's definitely one thing that I think the progressives and the left certainly needs to, I think, like, you know, shape up on a little bit, it's this shit. You know, because, like, it's kind of freaky, you know, with, like, how far some of these people are willing to, like, take this, and a lot of it is just because they've been so ingrained and, like, you know, been fed this, like, feedback loop of bullshit, you know, over and over again, to the point where they justify very heinous fucking shit in a lot of ways. It's like, what? It's like, I mean, okay, like, this is seriously something that needs to be addressed. And a lot of these, like, manosphere incel types will say, oh, good, it needs to be. But, hey, I'm gonna shatter your fucking little bubble. It's, you know, to address it because of you people. Because of y'all yourselves. Sorry, but that's the truth. It's not because, like, you know, of women or whatever the fuck or all this other shit. It's because of you. So, it's like, I mean, it's really where, like, the root of, I think, this conversation really needs to be had. Like, are these, like, you know, influential, like, incel manosphere types and people that continue to perpetuate, you know, that false fucking bullshit that is, you know, spewed, you know, from that fucking, you know, clique of, you know, the human zeitgeist, and also just, like, having a positive alternative, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, like, male confidence and all this other shit. Like, because there certainly are, like, I would argue, positive male role models that do exist out there, like Ethan Klein or Noah Sampson, to, like, Hassan even, or, like, Vosh, or, like, you know, Mike Figueredo. Like, I do honestly think there are genuine, like, positive, like, male, like, figures that could be looked up to in a way, but, you know, it's just, the thing is, like, you know, there just isn't, like, a fixation or, like, a focus to that to really challenge, you know, this manosphere shit. And I think there definitely needs to be more of an emphasis on it, for sure. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's not the left's fault or women's fault or society's fault because of this shit. It just isn't. I mean, it's just kind of a bullshit, like, misnomer, as far as I'm concerned. What are you doing over there? Come here. Come here, buddy. You've been a little, like, fucking dork over there, bro. Are you gonna keep being a dork? Well, I guess he is. He's just gonna stare at me. And has to groom himself again. Come on, get over here. Come on. Come here. Do you not want to be on my lap? You were loving my lap earlier. You like to be on my lap at the karaoke bar and all that shit, but no. Now you're just like, nah, fam. Fuck that. What a fucking goober. Oh, what a goober. Oh, God damn it. No, there's like a... Zukov. Speaking of Zukov and being a goober, there's... Got the dog hairs in here. I could kind of see them ever so slightly, and I'm... Is that all of them? Yeah, it's all of them. Okay. I think that's all the dog hairs in my bowl. Zukov, I had to pick your fucking fur out of my bowl. Oh, you cute little thing. He just plopped. He was standing and then he just like... He just like plopped down and oh. Now he's just looking like he's about ready to take a nap. So cute. I kind of feel the same way though, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I think all things considered, nice little shorty. And you know, at least mostly just kind of like, you know, get some thoughts out there and stuff, because, you know, honestly, that's kind of how it was tonight. I was like, you know, I just got some thoughts, and just kind of want to put them out there. I mean, if I wasn't, like, you know, kind of stewing on some of these, you know, thoughts, I would just be like, you know, just like, yeah, fuck it. I just wait till the morning, but, you know, I wanted to at least, you know, get some of it out there. And, yeah, just kind of at least, you know, kind of, you know, put at least a little bit of a concrete, you know, like, foundation, you know, to some of it. You know, because I definitely, you know, like I said, I want to, you know, kind of discuss, you know, some of these things a little more, but I'll wait a little, you know, for another stream, you know, when there's a little bit more of a party going on inside, you know, for the chat and all that, so. But anyway, let's call it good for the morning, evening, morning, evening. So I can't tell anymore. It's like, it's damn near 6, so it's like 5:40 in the morning. So, well, you know what? I think, you know, just my habitual way of saying that, it's morning. So I think I'll call that for the morning. Oh, yeah. I pretty much damn near had an all-nighter for myself tonight. But, you know, fuck it. That's why I got coffee. So, I'll call it good for now. And, you know, have a coffee for the morning and all that shit. So, peace out. And see y'all till then. So.